here.
As you can see, we are leaving. Thanks for joining. This is Essence of Life.
Yes, it is Essence of Life.
Why we are leaving the US.
Are we leaving the US, Amanda?
We might be. Well, I mean, technically you and I are.
Yeah, but that's temporarily.
So you say.
Yeah, so you say.
Are you going to kidnap me to Ecuador?
Are you taking me with?
Ecuador is not the only place we're going.
What? Where are you going?
Well, we do have a few other stops.
Oh, yeah, we go to the few other countries too.
Mm-hmm.
So you're deciding where you're going to kidnap me to.
Yeah, I'm going to decide while I'm there, actually, because I don't know exactly the climate and the people. I'm going to need some support. So once I find someone there to help me, I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, you're sad that the Biden administration is banning TikTok.
Yeah, today
Or they're thinking about it.
Today we're planning on talking about the potential TikTok ban. And the TikTok ban is because the United States is concerned about China using our information gathered on TikTok against the US as a country.
And I hear that if they use the national security, there is no recourse. I mean, they just can't go out and do that. And the TikTok or nobody can fight it in the court. Practically what it makes it like there is a situation that our rule of law is set aside, that there's no way for anybody else to go and say, okay, show me, why do you think it's going to do that? So I have problem with that part, that you can suspend the law, the rule of law, the due process, just because you or somebody thinks it's a national security thing and nobody else need to really know about it. I have a problem with that, actually.
I have a problem with that too. I feel like it's very secretive, and the reason that we're being given, I don't think is genuine.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I actually do have a few theories, and one of them has to do with income and tax brackets. We're kind of at a unique time of our lives because you can make a lot of money on TikTok by just posting videos. And then all the other social media platforms like Instagram and Meta had to keep up with that by creating creator funds.
Mm-hmm.
So then people get paid to post. Meta has been lobbying against TikTok with the government, actually to the point that they're successful enough where they're getting rid of their own creator fund. So on Instagram and Facebook, you can no longer get paid for simply creating content the way you can right now.
So but the fund come to you as when you have viewers, like, is that correct?
You get funds from views, likes, subscribers, common interactions, but then also through ads.
Yeah.
So if I was this cup, I could pay you on this TikTok right now or this podcast simply for having that. But now I don't know if you can still get paid like that on social media.
Well, I know that the YouTube, if you're YouTube and you have lots of viewers per million of views, you get some income from that. But this is not what we are talking about, that you get, if you have like 10 million views, you get paid for those views and so on. What are we talking about?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. On Instagram and on Meta, Facebook, that's not a thing anymore. You can't get paid like that anymore.
So they, in a way, these big established companies, they're trying to get rid of the competitors.
No, they want to benefit from people creating content. They want people's videos and their photos and everything that now these sites own because we posted it on there. They're getting these for free. And it's drawing other people, the consumers, to look at these platforms and consume on the platform. But now the producers of these videos don't get paid for it. So basically, Facebook, Meta, and Instagram want people like us to work for them for free because they're still going to get all the benefits. They still actually get to extract data.
That is almost the anti-competitor.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes it even, more scary that nobody can really go on bottom of it if they use a venue that nobody can challenge that. That is, again, it all come back to that. One of the reasons we are who we are is that We have a rule of law. We have three different branches that we have check and balances. That, but that doesn't really sound like if they can get away with that, that we are keeping the nature of who we are, meaning that you can challenge even as a private citizen, you can challenge anybody, and that part, I'm a little concerned about that.
That actually is a really good point, and it brings me to my next point of concern, which is TikTok is the most freely spoken social media platform out there. On Instagram and on Facebook, you will get your stuff taken down pretty easily.
Really? But
Yeah.
what content do you get easier taken down on Instagram and Facebook and so on?
Political content or stuff that's fake news gets
Mhm.
taken down pretty fast on Facebook, even if it's not genuinely fake news. I
Yeah.
think on TikTok, we have a lot more freedom of speech and freedom of journalism.
And you know what, as well, I really like about TikTok, that that it's truly international.
Yeah.
It's not dominated just by one country, and like remember that helicopter or some
Mhm.
other music. You get truly connect to the rest of the world, and I would be truly sad to see that go, because call it whatever you want, all the others are America, US dominated.
Yeah.
And that the multinationality of the TikTok, actually, it's very appealing to me.
The diversity of
The
TikTok.
diversity, yeah.
Yeah, but you know exactly what's appealing to you about that diversity may not be what's so appealing to America.
And in my eyes, then don't download the app. If you are worried about your privacy, do not download the app. And if you work for the country, if you're in government, do not download the app. Like, that's the part that I don't understand. If I'm on Facebook and if I'm on Instagram, they're
Mhm.
taking the same information from me. It's
Yeah.
just Americans taking it. So what's the problem now?
I think the problem is that at least that's how they are bringing it on, is that if the American company is subjected to American rules of, like that they can be audited, they can be looked over the shoulder, they have to adhere, and they have a lot to lose. And I think, okay, I understand there is some concern that the Chinese government use that app. I mean, they would be dumb not to do that, to use whatever resources to have to get something on anybody.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, if the TikTok as a company cooperating with them or not, if it's a Chinese company, they can put tremendous amount of pressure on them to comply with them. Now, what is our recourse for something like that? Are we always going to prevent any kind of innovation that is not US? Yeah, are we going to close off our borders? Well, CIA, NSA, what are you guys doing? If you think TikTok is truly doing that, infiltrate it and reverse it, make a counter-espionage, get more stuff from them than, but blocking our borders just because there is a chance that they can get our information. They can as well, go and download all the other stuff, because our stuff on Facebook and so on, they can go and buy that.
Yeah.
Facebook's selling it.
Facebook literally does sell it.
I feel like they don't even have to sell it because I can go on Google and look up my name and it brings up
Yeah.
anything Facebook posts I've been
So,
tagged in.
I think it is something more than we are not being told, which I have problem with that, because as a citizen, we have a right to know that.
Yeah.
Or it is just a bad anti-competitive from some of the other big social media companies, because TikTok has been growing tremendously in the last few years. It's the fastest growing platform. And if it is a anti-competitor nature of the process, I'm actually totally pissed, because that will exactly be the most anti-American thing to do, to get rid of the competitors with the kind
A
of
law, some
with the
yeah.
with the lie that the packaging it on this national security, to just because Facebook lobbied some politician to get rid of the competitors. That would be tremendous loss to the country to do
Are
something
they
like that.
advertising this as something to benefit America? You know, they have to be
They are.
putting that propaganda out there as if, you know, we're doing this to, you know, benefit you and make you safe. And I'm not as well versed as you two are. So I was more curious, like, how do they make it sound good?
Because
Like-
they're protecting us from China. That's what they're saying.
You know, since 1970s, there have been these laws are tailored to kind of keep China isolated. And they're the dumbest laws. Like, did you know there is a law that NASA cannot cooperate with China for space research? Even in the time that we cooperated with the communist Russia, they brought a law that prevented us, our scientists and so on, to cooperate with the with Chinese
That's
space
ridiculous.
program.
That is so ridiculous.
Get even worse. There was a law, you know, one of the biggest people who'd worked on the quantum theory and the particle theory. There were few Chinese citizens who used to do that. They were at top of their field. Do you know the same movement in 1950s and 60s and so on, that was the dumbest thing on the planet? You know what they did? They prevented those Chinese American of the fear of China getting something. They prevented them to work in our universities. Do you know what they did?
What?
They went back to China and built China's nuclear program. And then they had, so we give them a big present. This fear mongering actually going to backfire.
And you know what? Just to tag on to that, I feel like we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot when we do situations like that, when we don't work with China. Where do you think this mic was made? And these
China.
phones that were record, like all this stuff, we're not working with China, but then you go to Walmart. Walmart is China. Like,
China, Walmart is the
Chinatown.
biggest.
yeah.
China, Walmart is the biggest the employer
Employer in
in China. Yeah. But do you know what most of it come from?
What?
From this, you know, this idea of that they are so different to us. They are so different from us that they someday become more powerful than us, and economically, they soon will be. But the idea is some people call it this hegemonic idea that we cannot tolerate another power next to us. That is not a new idea. That's a doctrine, American doctrine, that has existed for a very long time. And now for a first time, there is a social media company that is becoming stronger than many American social media company. The idea that we cannot tolerate anybody having a more muscular car or biggest rocket or the
They're intimidated.
tallest, you know, skyscraper and so on. I think in reality, we have to just get used to it. There's a good indication that we still will be very, very strong, but we will be strong among a more prosperous globe,
Mhm.
Earth. And we should just accept that, you know, we cannot be forever. And that could be our strength when we accept that, yes, dollar will be a strong currency, but it will be one of many, not the only. The idea that we want to be the only, the biggest, the baddest, the strongest, and so on and so forth, trying to maintain that is going to bankrupt us.
Yeah.
Hasn't it already?
Well,
No,
there's
we are pretty good still. I'm an optimist.
We're
I'm a-
trillions of dollars in debt. To me, that's
No, no.
pretty deep.
No, we are indebted to ourselves.
Open your pocket. Yeah.
We are in debt to ourselves. That is a different. Okay, so see, a dollar is the still world currency, meaning that everybody who has a debt has a debt to us.
Yeah.
And once a dollar, that is the more scary thing, that the dollar is not the only the kind of world currency. Then you go to a war and create a $2 trillion, your milk will be 5 times more expensive next week. We can do that and still, you know, get by with it because we spend the money, the whole world support us. We should be more afraid of the day that US dollar is not the first currency, but I think in our soul there is that fear that the future is not only ours. We have to come to
We have to
terms
get
with that.
over that.
I say, isn't that
Get
kind of
over
a
that.
beautiful thing to think about, that the future is not,
Yeah,
you know,
that in the future we can maybe a saying or a quote comes to my head when we talk about this. It's part of a Lil Wayne song. If you can't beat them, join them. So it's like, instead of trying to be the best and kind of like stomping on our enemies, why don't we like
Not
join
having
them?
them in.
Why don't we all be friends?
Yeah, well, this is no, I mean, I understand, it's lots of, this is still real, so let's see what's happening in Ukraine and Russia and so on, that these are countries, they don't play by our rules, like our democracy and so on and so forth. They have a different form of government, but, you and I, we just came from a country who's a monarchy. It's not a democracy, but people have a good life. We have to understand that our way of life is a good way of life for us, but it's not the only way of life. And if some other countries, they have a different way of life, it is to them to change it. Let's cooperate with them rather than ban them and so on. Having said that, it might be something that we don't know, that truly that there's something in the background is happening, but this is the strength of our country. We are robust. Let us know what's going on. Come clean, rather than making us like a dictatorship that the dictator Biden says no more TikTok, and then we all have to abide by it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess, I mean, you're a parent, so you know how rebellion works.
Mhm.
What happens when people tell you that you can't do things or you're not allowed to do things?
You want to keep doing that.
You want to do them more.
Yeah.
My thought is, if they decide, to shut this down and start, drawing the line somewhere, if they think that that line that they drew in the sand is going to hold up, it's not.
And if they think that people are going to come from TikTok and start posting on Instagram, they're wrong. People are not going to go back to Instagram and back to Facebook after being on TikTok, which is completely different. And it's actually more geared towards the individual. I, for one, have no interest in Instagram literally at all. And once TikTok is taken down, the only reason I will be on Instagram is to post for work.
Mhm. Well, I think, it's just maybe hopefully a little muscle flexing as well on the administration side. Maybe let's just watch how
Yeah.
it plays out.
I-
But I know that, I have a lots of educational
TikToks.
TikToks, and I will be sad if I cannot share that just on the fly with
Mhm.
other people. And I learned a lot from TikTok.
Every day.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really sad if I can't go on TikTok anymore because I've learned a lot of hobbies.
What do I do in the bathrooms?
How do
Not
I
get hemorrhoids.
how can I find what I want to do if I don't have a TikTok to show
Can
me?
you imagine watching an actual YouTube video on how to do things instead of a
Oh my
10-second
God.
TikTok?
I cannot.
Yeah.
I literally cannot.
The 20 minutes just, hello, everybody, I am this and that. And
then they have
let's
their
just-
intro video.
that's ding, 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 and the music, 2 minutes music. And then,
Yes.
oh, are you kidding me? Do you think I have so much time?
Amanda
Anything?
and I have so many stories with that.
Yeah. And as a society, I think we're sometimes losing trust in the United States as a government because they do this stuff where, like you said, they're not always clear about why they're doing something. They tell us it's for safety, but they don't really say like, what is the safe part? If they were just honest with us and saying like, China did this and that's why you can't have TikTok anymore, I think that people would be a lot more understanding.
Yes.
And it would probably also help to build our relationship with our government.
And that is exactly, I would say, the difference between us and China. China, as a government and the people, they came to agreement. Government says something, everybody accept. We are not Chinese, we are American. You owe us an explanation about what's going on. So I think we are getting now close to our next podcast.
And sorry, guys, We actually aren't leaving the US, so you can still keep dealing with us.
No, I'm not leaving. I don't know what you're doing.
Fine. I'm taking Abasi's one-way ticket to New Zealand then. Is that
Well,
okay?
Well,
Permission granted,
yeah,
bosses?
you can go.
What's that called when you get kicked out? Of the US
Expelled?
of the US, like extradited or something?
No,
Oh.
extradited if they ask for you.
Deported, yeah, but that's
Deported?
if you're
But
That's
can you get
different.
deported if you're a citizen?
No, you can't. Well, he's still in Russia. He's a Russian citizen now.
banned. Yeah, I don't know.
No, he's not banned. We'd love to have him back here in our prison. But that's a different story. So
Okay.
let's
His
move forward.
his boyfriend misses him.
Who?
Edward Snowden.
He doesn't have a oh, I see what you mean. In the prison, he will have. Oh, I see.
Bye guys. Thanks for watching.
So this was a
That was for fun.
This was
spontaneous.
just to complain.
Yeah.
This was just our venting sesh.
Okay. You have a good day.